Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick it off right here. My son's alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all start clapping right now. Start clapping right now. Representing the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, give it up for Keesha Wallace.
While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones.
I am a proud third-generation HBCU graduate. My grandparents and parents graduated from Elizabeth City State University. See, in our family, after high school, you only had two choices. One was to go to college, and two was to go to the military. And since I've always been a little fluffy, off to college I went. So come with me. It is the summer of 1992. We are crossing the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in a gray and blue minivan. My parents were in the front, I was in the back, surrounded by everything a spoiled only child could want or need for her freshman year of college. See, we were going to Princess Anne, Maryland. I like to refer to it as the Black Mayberry. You know, Mayberry from the Andy Griffin Show. Anyway, the streets were clean, it was quiet. We got to the first stoplight, we made a left over the train tracks, and there it was, the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, a historically black university. I was so excited. I opened up my door and I threw up. Oh God, was this a sign? I said to myself, girl, why didn't you just go to Morgan? It was down the street and around the corner from your house. And then girls said back. First off, you would have caught the same bus that you caught to high school, the 3 or the 36. 2, you would have felt like you were in the 13th grade. And most important, you are 18 years old now. You are a grown-ass woman. See, I wanted to be free. I wanted to come and go as I please, do what I wanted to do. So, deuces, Baltimore, UMES, here I am. Hawk Pride! Exactly. See, I was assigned to Murphy Hall. It was an all-female dormitory. See, I was getting ready to live there and start in a different world. See, I knew my parents loved me. They would stand behind me come what may. I really thought I was ready until I finally heard them say, now it's a different world than where you came from. And boy, were they right. I lived with girls from DC, PG, Philly, NYC, and one girl from Sri Lanka. I had never heard of it either. I told y'all it was a different world. We were all culture shocked at first, but we all got along. We built a sisterhood. The lessons turned into laughter that turned into one great time. Some of the lessons I learned freshman year were, Easter Monday is not a holiday. Don't you ever raise your hand to interrupt instructions to go to the bathroom. Just get up and go. And don't ever become roommates with your best friend. See, I learned that real quick. So sophomore year, I moved to the student apartments where I had my own room. It was time to live the life. That's when I met a guy. His name was Mad Dog. He had perfect vision. He was popular. Everyone knew him. He was at all the parties. I mean, when he came around, woo, you never knew how the night was going to end. We had a ball. I didn't realize how much of a ball we had really had until the summer of 1994, when my pager went off and it said 911. See, 911 was the code that me and my friends had to let each other know that the grades were out. See, there was no parent portal back then, thank God. Grades still came in the mail. So I stalked the mailbox for 3 days until I saw that envelope come from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I ripped it open. 1.8 GPA. Yeah, 1.8 GPA. So, what am I to do? Hide them grades and keep on with my summer? So, it's now time to go back for junior year. I'm halfway through this process. Only thing I needed, the car was packed, clothes were in. Only thing I needed was my tuition check. Daddy, I go back to school in 2 days. Don't forget, I'm going to need my check. I haven't seen your grades from last semester. What? My grades? Maybe I owe a library book. You know how me and my advisor are. I mean, you know she doesn't like me. Daddy, you went to a HBCU. You know how that business department is. Nothing's ever right. Figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. I bought me a ticket for the Greyhound back to UMES. I grabbed everything I could and I put it on that bus. And then I went and met with Dr. William P. Heitch. He was the president of the university at the time. And I asked for a deferment for the whole semester's tuition. He went on the computer. He looked at me. He saw we paid cash. So he granted it. Yes. Later that night, I got a phone call. Hello? 1.8, huh? It was my father. Yes. Do you recall the conversation I had with you when I dropped you off at UMES? Yes. You said that you were only going to pay for 4 years and anything after that was on me. Correct. Hello? He hung up. How rude. But he sent the check. I had to break up with Mad Dog. But I started dating another guy who was focused on his grades, so I got focused on my grades. I was back on track to graduate in 4 years. So let's speed it up a little bit. It is the spring semester of 1996, 1 week before graduation. All assignments were done, finals complete. All I needed to do was to get my advisor to sign off for graduation. And he didn't. He suggested that I go back and take all the classes I failed spring of 94, the semester that I formerly called the 1.8. If you've ever gone to a HBCU, you know that faculty becomes family. So I agreed. Then he asked me another question. Would you like to call your parents? Or would you like me to call your parents? You can call them, God, please call them, please, God. They were pissed. Then to make matters worse, I get another phone call. Hello? Oh, hi, Nanny. That was my grandmother. She was calling to let me know that she wasn't feeling well, so she wouldn't be able to come to my graduation next week. Don't worry about it because I won't be graduating next week. And then I had to explain to her why. She was shocked. See, my grandmother was an educator. My aunts were educators. For God's sakes, my mother is an educator. So I know the value of a good education. But even in the midst of it, she says, that's okay. Do me one favor. I said, okay. She said, promise me you're going to go back, you're going to pass those classes, and you're going to get your degree. Because, see, I was her oldest grandchild at the time. I said, I promise. I promise. Nanny, I promise. What a difference 2 months could make. See, that phone call took place in May. My grandmother passed away of pancreatic cancer in July. So, I had to go back to UMES, fall of '96. But this time, I went with an angel. I was more focused. I was more determined. My mother paid my tuition for the last semester. I moved off campus, I got a job, and I passed all of my classes. See, I was ready then, and I understood the mission. So in May of 1997, I walked across the stage of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where I received my Bachelor's of Science degree in criminal justice, a degree that I still utilize today. See, I kept my promise to my grandmother, Fannie Armstrong Williams. See, I kept my promise to my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bobby Wallace. But most of all, I kept my promise to myself because I am a promise keeper.
Because God used my mistakes, He worked them for my good, yeah. Like no one else ever could. Girls, can you help me say that? Come on. I am who I am today. Everything that I went through. Because everything that you're going through, you have to understand that it is a test for a testimony. Yeah.
One more time for Keesha Wallace. Come on, UMES. I told you, it's unapologetic. It's unapologetic. And please also give it up for Mad Dog 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for Mad Dog 2020. We're not endorsing that to the children, but I study with Mad Dog, OE, St. Ives. We all hung out together in the dorm room. That's it. One more time for Keesha Wallace, ladies and gentlemen. One more time.